Something crazy about all this before we get go talk about Turkey and all that. You know, something crazy as hell. Like they took the real Israelites aren't even white. Like the real Israelites are black. They're either black or they got my kind of skin color. They're not they're not the transplants that are in Israel right now. I will say one thing. I'm kind of mixed on how I feel about the Israeli people. On one hand, I feel bad for them because the average Israeli doesn't know that they're not really rooted to the land. But on the other hand, some of them just don't really care and they enable a lot of this. So it's like, I don't know. I remember one time I was reading a story about how someone left Israel, took a DNA test, and they were just like, did you know that? And they realized that most of their roots were to Poland. Poland. Not even Israel. Like, not even the Middle East.
Oh, fucking Twitter. I cannot wait to get back to tweeting after this fucking stream. Like this fucking Zio bitch over here, Ezra Gigman. Oh, 5K followers. Not too bad. More than me. But, one event against the British Army in Israel isn't equivalent to thousands of terrorist attacks by Muslims. Check the ratio.
Yeah, here's the problem with that logic. The terrorist organizations that are Islamic are actually funded by Mossad and the CIA. So, way to call out your own people there. I mean, everyone made such a big deal about Hamas, and I'm like, who the fuck is funding them? We can cuss on this, right? Like, who the
Absolutely.
who the
No.
fuck was funding these people? It was Netanyahu and Mossad and the Israeli government. And anyone says otherwise, well, you know what? They're a waste of oxygen. I mean, it's stupid. You know what you should do? Ask that guy for a DNA test. Any pro-Zionists from Israel, I want them to take a DNA test. I'm dead serious. Take a DNA test.
Those are actually outlawed unless you can get a court exemption.
I'm dead serious.
DNA tests are outlawed in Israel unless you can get a court exemption.
I wonder why. Oh, maybe it's because they don't want their people to know the truth? Yeah. Oh, by the way, we lied to you about your entire upbringing. I will admit, if I found out in my mid-20-somethings that, I was lied to about my upbringing, I'd go nuts too. But that being said, tell him what I want to ask him for a DNA test. Ask him for a DNA test. Can you prove you're even? Yeah. Ask him for a DNA test.
Can you take a DNA test for me, just out of curiosity? Okay. And I'm going to quote tweet him since, I want to sick my followers after him.
Yeah, you don't mind if I share this too, do you?
Share what?
There's an image there's the thing I just found from
I can stop my screen real quick. I got the Twitter open only so that we can react to the main stories, but sure, show me your thing. Let me stop it right now.
So I'm gonna just show it for like a second. Let me just share screen. Yeah, there's a John Hopkins genetic study. I think there's a study from John Hopkins saying that 97% of Judaics living in Israel they're not even rooted. They have no actual ancient Hebrew DNA. Whereas the Palestinians they're the ones who are. See, just you can read this for everybody if you want, because Well, I don't know which way. Let me just. Yeah. See, there you go. So, what do you think about them apples?
Yeah, it's like Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Thank you for fucking sharing that.
I mean, I hate to say this, but the Israelis are just colonizers. I mean, the modern day Israelis are colonizers. You know, this is another example. I hate to make this about race since you're part British. I know you're also part Mexican, so like, well, that kind of cancels it out. Anyway, the point is, you know, this is just another example of Anglo-Saxon of Europeans colonizing the Middle East and Asia, melanated people in the Middle East and Asia.
Well, I
And
mean, the part British, like a lot of it was, a Romanian,
okay, that's
migration to Britain after the fall of the Kingdom of Romania, and the Soviet Union took over. That's part of my ancestry.
that's good. No, but anyway, the point being is like, what they don't understand is they're byproducts of colonization. They are, and I'm tired of people not saying it, and I'm tired of people saying otherwise. I think I can't believe I'm going to paraphrase Nicole Arbor of all people, but I think she had the perfect tweet. She said like, imagine a kid always picking a fight with someone on the playground, and then getting hit in the face once, and then crying to their mom that they're being bullied. That's Israel.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's what it is. I mean, these people. I mean, I know that the real power forces are much bigger than one area. I know for a fact that it's not just, oh, you get rid of Israel, you get rid of the world's problems, because I know it's not that simplistic. But what I will say is it's not exactly a coincidence that most of the heinousness tend to have Israeli roots.
I mean, yeah, fuck it, with the fucking Epstein shit that I just covered. That fucking lawsuit has, Jeffrey Epstein implicated in a fucking, boasting about being a Mossad agent to his one of his victims. And you had what was his name again, the former labor secretary, saying not to touch the Epstein things because Epstein is intelligence. I wonder, which intelligence?
Yeah, that's kind of messed up. I thought Epstein was dead. Why does it matter?
Well, I mean, getting justice. I mean, the victim is suing the estate to get, damages. Because I see damages in that, and if you do something like Epstein did, and your estate, even if you die, should be subject to such
well, maybe
litigation.
Well, let's be honest. Epstein didn't kill himself. That for a fact. We know he didn't kill himself. But you know what? I think Epstein might have faked his death. I don't even think he's dead. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he's back in the motherland. You don't mind if I share another thing about Israel linked to pedophilia, do you?
Oh yeah,
Right,
that is absolutely true. I'm trying to get this headline on there, but my overlay is blocking it. So you know what? I'm just gonna remove my overlay real quick.
All I know is that, well, don't worry. In a few minutes, we'll talk about Brics, and I'll sound like a Hindu nationalist in about 10 minutes. But no, I mean, yeah. If you don't mind, let me share my screen for a sec.
Yeah, let me put that up.
All right. I mean, there you go from the Jerusalem Post. Israel is trying to legalize pedophilia. There you go. This is from their own rags. This is from their own post. Israel is trying to legalize pedophilia.
And so you see, when I call for an end to Israel, I'm calling for the end of the Zionist supremacist state.
Yeah.
Because I fucking love Jews, and the Groypers are gonna grill me for that, but I fucking love Jews.
Right. They're all good people. Everyone's a good person. Every no nationality, no ethnicity or religion is evil. Everyone is they're all good people. They're awesome. You know, I've
You know,
people of all nationalities believe
people
that are good people.
people talk so much shit about Iran, right? You know, being some sort of, you know, genocidal fucking thing against Jews when they're like the second most populous, you know, they have the second most populous Jewish, you know,
Wow, I didn't even know
like,
that
like
is out.
they used to be the first most Jewish populous Middle Eastern nation before the establishment of Israel, which saw European Jews coming in instead of Middle Eastern Jews.
Yeah,
And the Middle Eastern Jews were like forced out. There was like this Baghdad bombing by Zionist forces, which compelled you know, the Jews and other Middle Eastern countries to migrate. So it was basically extortion by Zionists against Middle Eastern Jews to move to Israel, while they were evicting, you know, Palestinians from their homes.
no,
Uh,
that's true. I mean, it is. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, but you know, it's not exactly coincidence that just about every single person on the Epstein flight logs had some connections to Israel. That's not a coincidence.
it is not.
It is not a coincidence. Like this version of Israel is satanic. I mean, according to the Bible, only God can create the kingdom of Israel. So anything so this current state of Israel is not even supposed to exist. If
I
it
mean,
does,
yeah, you have the Haredi Jews who fucking say that.
right.
You know, they are called ultra orthodox for having that view.
Yeah.
Of being against a man-made Israel. And there you fucking go. It's really, the man-made state of Israel, the Zionist state, is basically just a racket using some biblical justification to you know to get the money in the coffers.
Right. So to finish the article, currently the age of consent in Israel is 16 for all genders. However, that age of consent can go as low as 14, provided that the other sexual partner is no more than 3 years older and both parties consented. But according to Maus, the Justice Ministry is trying to change this to an age gap of 5 years. A 19-year-old can have a consensual relationship with a 14-year-old and won't face criminal charges, Maus said. So basically, if you support pedophilia, if you support Israel, you support pedophilia. It's really that simple,
I can't argue against that.
you know. So, if someone who's not even from the area says they support Israel, just ask them if they're a registered sex offender. I mean, at this point, you might as well, you know.
So you got more from this article to read.
Right. Well, I don't know. I think that's it for now. But
Okay, let me know when you want to
yeah.
have your screen shared, and I'll stop mine from sharing.
Well,
Okay.
let's share some more screens and let me become a Hindu nationalist for a few minutes when we talk about
Well, then I guess I'll just change the share. So I'll have to go to Brics and trending. Is it still trending? No, it's probably trending in NATO because Turkey is joining Brics.
no. Well,
I don't know, but it's
BRICS. If Turkey's joining BRICS, how the heck are they going to stay in NATO?
yeah, that there you fucking go. But guess what? Saudi Arabia fucking stopped their petrodollar usage as they have pivoted towards BRICS.
Oh man, I don't know how to feel. I'm kind of mixed. As an American, I'm like, man, that's messed up. But as an Indian, I'm kind of like, I wouldn't mind moving back to the motherland. That's kind of nice. I mean, you got India and South Africa in there. In South Africa, there's plenty of people like me there too. So I feel like I got two homes.
I mean, I feel the same sometimes about Britain and about Romania and about Mexico. Because here's the thing. the thing about being American and living in the Southwest, I'm still basically protected because Mexico can fucking lay claim not only to my state,
Yeah.
but lay protective claim anyway over Arizona, over New Mexico, quote unquote New Mexico.
And part in California and Oregon and what is it in Utah of all places? Utah of all places.
Yeah. So
In
well,
Nevada.
because you already have Biden is shooting rockets at Russian fucking citizens in Crimea. And I thought that was gonna start the nukes.
You know what? I'm not even worried about a nuclear war because at this point, if we're not prepared for it, we're not going to survive it. We want to have, fun and do what we do best while we're still here. So, but that being said, Brics. I mean,
So explain more about like how your own sort of Hindu nationalist thoughts. I know you. I mean, you're not
well,
Modi, right?
no, I'm not Modi. No. But no, that being said, like as an Indian, I'm kind of happy that they're finally taking stage. I kept hearing for years that well, India's a superpower in the making. India's a superpower in the making. But if Brics starts taking off, especially with Russia, China, and India together, and South Africa, that's it. That changes the whole game.
The fucking world is fucking uniting.
Yeah.
Um, Talk a bit more about that, as I'm gonna be like 20 seconds.
Well, I mean, like I said, as someone of Indian origin, I got India and South Africa. In South Africa, if they've actually charged Israel and all of them with a bunch of war crimes, and like most of the Middle Eastern countries have signed off with it. So, it's a new day. It's definitely a new era, and I'm excited. I'm just wondering what the currency is going to be in Brazil or Russia because not all of them have the same economic growth or impact. But it is kind of cool having like a new currency come from the east instead of the west. Because
I mean, with the petrodollar, I'm sorry to interrupt, but with the petrodollar being dropped, I'm wondering if like Brics are gonna come up with like their own non-nationalistic, currency.
that's what I'm wondering too, because it'd be very interesting to see how they would get on. Because as well as I do, not every country has the same economic stability or economic growth. So it's going to be interesting how that gets implemented. But that being said, I mean, people don't realize the Western world is on collapse. The Western Europe, like when I mean Western world, I mean like Western Europe and North America, South America and Latin America. It's all good for them, Especially so if you're Mexican, Sasuke, viva la raza, So you're fine with that. You're fine with that. Oh, speaking of Mexican culture, that at the game a few days ago, they had Hispanic Heritage Night and it filled out the entire stadium for like one of the worst baseball teams in the entire world. But so I just want to bring that side note. So William, be proud of your Mexican heritage, damn it.
I am proud of all my heritage, and I think everybody should be the same without being accused of being a racist.
Yeah.
Now, if you think your the greatness of your nationalities, override the right of others to be proud of themselves, and that's where problems seem to arise, and that's what's happening with the collapse of American Western hegemony.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah. I mean, it's so bad that some of this immigration stuff, where it's like sanctuary cities and mass immigration, right? Some of that is because the Western countries are afraid. They are fearful that they are afraid that that the progeny rate in their countries is not large enough to have more to keep the population growing. The progeny rate is like 1.6 in those countries instead of 2.1 on average, and you need 2.1 as an average to keep the population going. Instead, it's like 1.6, and it's going to get to the point where it may get to -1. That's why they have all this mass migration of light-skinned immigrants. So they want to keep them and call them "quote unquote" white, and that's also the reason why Roe v. Wade. Half the reason. Well, the other half is obviously economics, and
So take a look at this fucking Ziocon over here, Gunther
it sounds like a
Furlinger. I know, right?
Gunther Furlinger. Oh yeah, I'm Gunther. We must protect the Third Reich. Oh yeah, we must.
EU, his bio says EU joined NATO, UK and EU, Euro, Ukraine, NATO, Euro, EU. Yes to US nuclear umbrella.
He looks like an actual white supremacist. Like you could put a white hood on his face and it would blend in perfectly.
So here's what Wise Guy has to say. He's on the screen right now.
All right, but let me finish my thought first before we. But anyway, that's the other reason why they reversed Roe v. Wade was because they're also worried about the Western countries not having enough, not being able to having a high enough reproductive rate. So, yeah, Western civilization's on the collapse, and people like Gunther won't be around. I'll be happy when people like Gunther won't be around to see it. We're gonna be looking at people like Gunther Fehlinger, in a museum in 100 years from now. They go, wow, what were white supremacists like? And we're going to be looking at pictures of him in a museum generations from now. Be like, oh, so this is what a Nazi looked like. All right, so let's see what he said.
Okay, so if Turkey joins BRICS, we must freeze the EU-Turkish customs union and send Turkey into economic meltdown.
Dude,
RT Erdogan, it is the end of the road. BRICS info will break Turkey.
I mean, to be fair, Turkey's already collapsing with the help of NATO, help of the EU. So it's not like they're doing anything for them anyway. I don't know how that's even a threat.
I mean, Biden gave Turkey like a lot of F-35s if they I don't know 37s I don't know some war jets, some advanced war jets in exchange for letting another country into NATO. So you got this war in Israel. It's just fucking. I mean, this war in Gaza. Fucking the genocide is fucking fueling just a fucking country that was just in fucking Zionist grasp for so long. They're ending fucking trade. And Erdogan, he's been an appeaser of the Zionist state. But, the people are forcing his hand. And, I can't fucking wait. I dare, this shit to happen. Because this is fucking illegal. This is the theft of Turkey's investment in the fucking EU.
It is.
In the customs union.
Well, I mean, the EU's not going to be around much longer. That's why they're so desperate and scared. I mean, Turkey's in the EU right now. They're having all sorts of economic issues, and that's why the people there are getting fed up with Erdogan. They're like, okay, bro, you control the entire country, and things are worse and worse for us. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, stop doing this shit. What are you doing? Stop fucking with our money. When you fuck with people's pocketbooks, that's when people go crazy. I'm just saying, like.
Oh yeah, and that people are going crazy over Saudi Arabia dropping the petrodollar, something that has been a constant for like, I think 4-5 decades now. Yeah, so that's been the root of our financial power. We're probably going to see a state where our currency is just as much as the peso, or the peso being worth even more.
Yeah.
Like, nobody right now takes pesos in the United States, but I can see it happening. I can see it happening.
I think North America at some point may be so desperate to create their own currency that they might just be, you know what, screw it. Let's get rid of the dollar. Let's get rid of the dollar and the loonie and the peso. Let's just come up with the I don't know, the CanMex, some CanMex currency or something, Can-Amex currency or something.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
They may have to.
Uh-huh. Okay, so now let's get into like we've talked about Turkey. Like before we stop talking about Brics and Hindu nationalism. Do you like have any like closing remarks on that?
I mean, the West is collapsing. Either get what either accept the fact that it's true, or just either accept the fact that it's happening or live in denial. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like I said, as someone of Indian origin,
it was so preventable. It was so preventable, Harsh.
It was.
It was so preventable, but it's too late.
No, it is. It's kind of weird. I got relatives asking me, "Hey, Harsh, when are you going to come back to India?" I'm like, dude, with the way this is going, I may move back there. I might just move back. See y'all later. It's been a nice life. It's great. Y'all, I love all of y'all, but I'm not going to be here anymore. I mean,
So,
I got
like,
India and South Africa because I got my people there too. So I'm good. You, on the other hand, you might have to see if the Mexicans accept you.
Yeah. I'll change my name to my mother's maiden name, Flores.
You might as well.
William Flores. But yeah, so in the title we got the Arab League. They just removed Hezbollah from the list of terrorist organizations, and the reason, I prefaced this entire stream with the King David Hotel bombing. The Zionists committed to terrorism first. Despite some misconceptions. I mean, I think some branches of Islam can get a bit more violent than others. But, Islam generally has a doctrine in the Quran that is definitely more merciful than dispensationalist Christianity, if I can even call dispensationalism Christianity. There is no, I have my problems with many problems with Islamic doctrine, but there is no justification for ethnic cleansing, that you won't find it in covenantal Christianity, actual Christianity, but you'll find it in dispensationalism.
Well, the problem with a lot of these religions have been co-opted by the evil powers to be. Look at Christian. Look at what's happened with the Vatican. I mean, that's just like an extension of the Roman Empire.
Well, they got a Jesuit in charge, and there's some fascinating things about Rome. I prefer the eastern half of Rome compared to the western half of Rome. The Byzantines. I'm an aficionado of Byzantine culture and fashion. I find it all intriguing. I think their principles, just as we're seeing now, are a bit higher standard, especially relative to their time. But, you see it now. You see the fucking East and the West, the principles of both, you just see a lax, that's why the Western half of the Roman Empire collapsed and fell under the barbarians before the Byzantines fell to the Ottomans.
Yeah, that's true.
Well before they had centuries of Byzantium before they fell as well. So you just know that there's something in the Eastern culture, regardless of really religion, be it Orthodox Christianity or Islam or Hinduism or Buddhism.
And who did the Ottomans become? They became the Turks. So
yeah. So yeah. And the Byzantines became the Russians and the Romanians, and and you just got a lot of infighting about that too, and with the Ukrainian stuff going on. I call it the Slavic Civil War.
It is. I mean, according to Putin, Russia and Ukraine have been together since like 900 AD, but yet for some reason they were split apart. So.
Well, I mean, it's Kiev in particular is the birthplace of the Russian national identity.
It is.
And I guess, in the same way that Jerusalem is the birthplace for the Palestinians.
You there? Yeah, William, you there? Hello there.
All right. Due to technical issues, uh, let me uh, let me add to stage real quick. Harsh Med over here.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a thunderstorm going on, and we just had a power outage.
Oh wow.
Let's just close out this stream. Let's use this time to close out this stream.
If you want to close out, we'll close out. I did have a few more things to say in regards to all this craziness, but yeah.
So yeah, I just, again, like I said, I compared, I was talking about, I don't think it is unprecedented for the Arab League to remove Hezbollah as a terrorist organization. It was the Zionists.
Right.
It was the Zionists who punched first with the King David Hotel bombing.
Right.
And everything since can be sought from that, not from a retaliatory attack on October 7th. Horrible things happened.
Right.
But, I reject the fact that this violence originates with October 7th, and everybody fucking should.
Exactly. One more thing, a few more things. One, the Israeli government has no issues sacrificing its own people. Heck, even even the satanic version of their religion.
I can barely hear you, Harsh. Are you there still? I don't think I can hear you. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, even the weather is affecting my device. We're just going to close out, hoping to have Harsh back on. There's so much more I want to discuss with him. And it's so unfortunate that bad weather can disrupt a stream like this. I am so sorry, but we will have more tomorrow once this electricity issue is figured out at my complex over here.